The Carrington event is the largest recorded geomagnetic storm in history. Geomagnetic storms are caused by giant particle eruptions on the surface of the sun. These explosions are either coronal mass ejections or solar flares. The explosions produce a rush of solar wind, which moves through space, briefly disrupting the outer parts of Earth's magnetic field. They affect the radiation belts and ionosphere in geospace. The Carrington event occurred in early September 1859, a few months before the 1860 solar maximum. It started in August of that year when astronomers watched with fascination as the number of sunspots on the sun grew. A sunspot is an area on the surface of the sun that is darker than the surrounding areas. Among one of these astronomers was Richard Carrington, a sky watcher in Red Hill, England. On September 1st, Carrington was sketching the sunspots when he was suddenly blinded by a flash of light. He described this flash as a white light flare. The flare that Carrington witnessed was identified as a major coronal mass ejection, which is a burst of magnetized plasma from the sun's upper atmosphere, the corona. Coronal mass ejections usually take multiple days to reach Earth. However, in 17.6 hours, the September 1st ejection unleashed on Earth, traveling over 90 million miles between the Sun and Earth. The day after Carrington observed the flare, Earth was hit by an unprecedented geomagnetic storm that disrupted telegraph systems. Auroras, which are usually confined to polar latitudes, became visible in the tropics. Putting two and two together, Carrington realized that the solar flare he saw was almost certainly responsible for this massive geomagnetic disturbance. This was an unprecedented connection. The 1859 solar storm is now known as the Carrington event in his honor. The Carrington event unleashed a massive geomagnetic storm that caused technology to crash. It caused sparking and fires in multiple telegraph stations. As a result, telegraph communications around the world failed. The auroral displays extended far beyond its normal range. According to National Geographic, the northern lights were seen as far south as Cuba, Honolulu, Hawaii, and the southern lights were seen as far north as Santiago. The world has become much more dependent on wireless technology than it was during the Carrington incident. A similarly powerful solar flare aimed at Earth today could do unprecedented damage if it exploded. Researchers from Lloyd's of London and the Atmospheric and Environmental Research Agency in the US have estimated that a Carrington class event could cost the United States alone up to 2.6 trillion in damages today. They also found that global power outages lasting up to several years could occur, causing significant disruptions in financial markets, telecommunications, emergency and hospital services, water and fuel pumping, food transport, and more. Contingency plans by government and businesses can be put into place as long as they have sufficient warnings of such a storm. However, space weather is notoriously unpredictable, so there's no telling when the next Carrington level event will occur.